Thank you to the people who are supporting me on Ko-fi. You guys are keeping me alive. It was a beautiful summer day in the neighborhood of home. The sun was shining, the flowers were blooming. On days like these you enjoyed nothing more than a cold cola and slothing away in your backyard. Though you didn't do this because you were lazy, more because you absolutely hated summer. You hated sweating, made you feel all icky. You hated feeling warm, as outside of clothing and sitting before a fan, there was really nothing you could do against it. You always were on the sidelines, watching your neighbors work and function in this heat, while all you could do was shove ice cream into your gullet and spend ungodly amounts of time in your swimming pool. At least nights gave you some respite and relaxation. Your name was Mary Merriment, one of the most beautiful puppets in the neighborhood. The felt your skin was made of was a wonderful ice blue color. Your hair luscious cyan locks. Your nose orange. Your preferred article of clothing was a thin, white gown, rainbow-colored fingerless gloves, and rainbow-colored knee-high socks. The socks, though, you ditched due to the heat. A white summer hat was gently resting on your face to shield your sensitive eyes from the sun as you were lying down in the shade of a tree. Behind you, you heard the tender noise of splashing water as your friend and direct neighbor, Julie Joyful, was plunging about in her own swimming pool. The two of you often had conversations over the fence as you spent most of your days inside your house. You were a comic artist working for Home's daily newspaper. You had created an adorable little mascot, a fat red cat with an addiction for enchiladas. Always had a witty comment ready for its owner, Janine Farbuckle. But because of that job, you were quite literally bound to your basement where you had set up your cartoon studio, coming up with jokes and hijinks for the newspaper. A lucky thing for you, however, was the fact that you were quite creative and could finish multiple comics in one day. You had a backlog of about 10 comics at the moment that you were hugely proud of. It was the reason you were taking a few days off, as you could allow it. You just needed to remember to submit them in time for the editor to approve them, which they usually did 5 times out of 10. Suddenly you heard the unmistakable noise of someone leaving a pool of water. Naked feet approaching you from behind.
Hey, Mary.
That was Julie.
Let's share secrets to each other.
You sighed. Her shenanigans almost made you lift your hat. But sure, might be a bit juvenile, but... fine. Like what?
Like... Oh, I know. I'm secretly keeping a rat in my basement.
Okay.
His name is Foamy.
Why is your rat's name Foamy?
Because his mouth is all foamy. It's adorable.
You sighed, tapping your fingers on your chest. Yeah, you would not open this can of worms just yet.
Your turn.
After a few minutes of deliberation, you finally mumbled something. You know that painter guy?
Wally?
Yeah. Julie made a giddy noise.
What about him?
I think I have a crush on him. You didn't see it, but Julie's grin widened. He's cute, I guess. I guess I just have a thing for cute guys with autism. The blonde puppet suddenly had an idea. Rubbing her hands together, she pressed her wet bikini-clad body against the wooden fence.
Mary,
she asked in a really annoying tone. What, Julie?
Can you come over tonight?
Sighing, you finally took off your sun hat, setting it down between your legs. Why? Licking her lips, Julie simply said,
I'm gonna get Wally, we're gonna have a sleepover, and I am gonna hook you up. You'll be smooching before the night is over.
Your face turned to a dark ocean blue as you blushed hard.
Just answer me one thing. What's autism?
It was hours later. You were sitting with your knees under your chin on the floor in Julie's house. On your feet, a pair of super soft, fluffy house shoes. Your sun had pulled so far down it covered your face. When Wally came in earlier, he had behind him a whole group of neighbors. It was so full now, and even Julie seemed to be overwhelmed. The clueless painter kinda had ruined his chance. Unless Julie, sweetheart she was cooking up a plan. After all, she was the best wingman in the whole world. She could figure something out. Everyone except for you was right now in the kitchen, chatting and eating snacks. But now you only barely managed to interact with Wally, before another neighbor interrupted the two of you. It almost felt like he was being deliberately kidnapped from you temporarily every 2 to 3 minutes. How annoying and unfair. Because you had so many things you wanted to tell him. For example, how your day was, and then ask him how his day was, and then how much you thought of him every day, and how seeing his beautiful pictures had touched your heart in ways no painting had ever done before. Julie felt terrible, but this was part of the idea. She was working on getting everyone just slightly tipsy. Thankfully, everyone here was an adult. Julie's plan would soon go into motion. Just minutes later, her bottle of cheap apple wine was empty, and there was now a lot of slightly red-faced puppets in her kitchen. She giggled, giddy, excited, before announcing, "Slumber party game!" You looked up as Julie strutted into the living room, proudly, her gang behind her. That was Wally too. You blushed at the painter. Julie then slammed the bottle on the ground.
We're playing Truth or Dare. Who wants to start?
To the tipsy Julie, this plan was bloody brilliant, and it had a certain charm to it, no doubt. Not only could this get rid of a few people, but potentially give you a chance to get Wally to do things with you. You were almost in a daze as you thought about it. Time passed and dares and truths were spoken. And over time, a certain problem arose. How could you even ask Wally to do anything? It was simply too embarrassing. And Julie noticed. She took hold of the bottle next. After spinning, it pointed at you. Well, you could make out with her, but that would really excite you. Wait, you just remembered something. She had a joker. Joker meaning earlier, when she got Wally, he flip-flopped something, switching from a truth to a dare. This joker would allow her to involve Wally in a dare meant for you. Oh no. Oh yes. Thank God you picked up on that. Excited, your heart pounded now. This was your chance.
Truth or dare,
said Julie, her eyes almost obviously darting to Wally, then to you, and then back to Wally again. Dare. Julie smiled.
I want you to play 7 minutes in heaven with Wally.
The entire group awed at the seemingly very creative and punishing dare, not realizing she had been planning this from the beginning. All according to plan. After all, Wally was too nice to not invite at least one other person with him to the slumber party. Not to mention, he would be way too shy if it was only you and him here in the house. Other than her. Not to mention, he would be way too shy if it was only you and him in her house. Everyone here was super crazy for homegrown apples from the orchard, so apple wine was a surefire victory here. To get everyone just tipsy enough. And you were a shy little wallflower. So you'd avoid the crowd, and therefore avoid drinking. Keeping your wits sharp. To pick up on something as subtle as this. And keep your heart eager. Wally playfully resisted at first, before finally joining you in Julie's broom closet for the game. It was tight in here. Your voluptuous chest was pressed against his, making the painter blush as he tried to keep his composure. Well, here we are, he said after a very short while. I hope you aren't uncomfortable.
No, actually,
he said quietly.
I actually think this is very comforting.
Oh, really? He narrowed his eyes seductively. And then it was as if your body moved on its own, your hands taking hold of his.
Actually, I'm more than comfortable.
Oh, are you now? He allowed himself to be pulled in closer by you, your arms now snaking around his hips. Almost as if this entire thing was a setup. Wait, what? He almost shouted that. Oops. Wally, however, was taken aback. What? I'm just saying, this seems like something you really wanted, and, well, it happened. You just barely managed to keep your eyes from twitching, with all the excitement you were feeling in this moment.
Can we please make out now?
You said breathlessly. 2 loud smacks echoed through the closet as Wally slapped your butt. Sure. Without any more warnings, Wally pressed his lips onto yours. Your eyes rolled back as your legs became weak. This was the story you were going to tell your children one day, you thought. Your body became like pudding in his arms. The weight of it made him go down on the ground. He was getting more daring, more demanding, as his hands began to explore your body, both over and under your PJs. In the meantime, Julie was handing out stronger drinks, just so everyone was thoroughly knocked out enough to not ask for the closet door to be opened after the 7 minutes were over. At least not just yet, while the two of you were still too busy to bear witness to the outside world. Julie smiled to herself. thinking, I'm the greatest wing woman on the goddamn planet.